Testing 1, 2. Can I have your attention, please? Good morning. We're off on the wrong foot already. Good morning. Welcome to all of you. I met most of you in the lobby again, but my name is Tamika Hobbs. I'm the Program and Education Coordinator here at the Library of Virginia, and we are so very happy to have you here. Give yourselves a round of applause. Let me just do my roll call. Is more middle school in the house? Okay. They're in the house a little bit. I don't think they woke up yet. We'll try again. We'll come back. Is Henning in the house? All right, that's a little bit better. Somebody ate their grits and eggs this morning. That's good. That's good. Is Charles City County in the house? A little bit. Okay, y'all slept on the bus. That's all right. And what about Davis? Is Davis? Wonderful, wonderful. Now, how many of you have actually been in this building before? Okay, just a few of you. This is the Library of Virginia. We have a very long history. We haven't been in this building all that long, but the institution dates back to 1823. Really, really old. We have things in our collection that date all the way back to Jamestown. How many of you have heard of a person called John Smith? How about Patrick Henry? How about Thomas Jefferson? Okay, well, we have documents related to all of those people right here in this building. We are the official keepers of the history of the state of Virginia. So I just want you to remember that, know where you are today. The reason we're here today, of course, is because February is African American History Month. It gives us an opportunity to reflect on people who have made contributions to this country and who struggled in many ways. There was a time in this country where the person, depending on the color of your skin, it really limited your ability to achieve. But not only do we like to look backwards and celebrate the past, but we also like to look forward and pay attention to people who are making history each and every day. And on that note, I'm so pleased to bring to the stage our special guest for today, astronaut Leland Melvin. Give him a round of applause, please.
Hello, everyone. I can't hear you. Hello, everyone. I still can't hear you. Hello, everyone. That's a little bit better. I just wanted to tell you I'm really proud of you guys. You are the future. You are future astronauts, our future NBA ball players, our future lawyers and doctors, our future scientists and engineers. And the reason I'm here is for you. I want to share some of the experiences that I've had so that maybe you can walk in our footsteps and maybe go to the moon, back to the moon one day, maybe go to Mars. And I'm just like you. I was in public schools in Virginia, from Lynchburg, Virginia. It's about 2 hours away from here. 6th grade, I played football, I rode skateboards, and did all the things that you guys do. But I had teachers that believed in me, parents believed in me, people in my community that believed in me, and it allowed me to achieve my dreams. So I want to show you some of the things that I've done from Lynchburg to now. And can we turn the lights down, please? So this is from Lynchburg to the launch pad, and it's really great to be here. This is a great facility. But before I get started, I want to honor some people here that have perished. And this was the Columbia crew. Do you remember back in 2003 when the Space Shuttle Columbia disintegrated?
Yes.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Well, I lost 7 really dear friends. And I don't, this is just not it's a very sad moment, but I showed this slide because they were doing things to help us. They were doing medical experiments. They were doing all these things to help our civilization get better. And we had a piece of foam came off the tank, hit the wing, and then the hot gases, when we came back into the atmosphere, the 3,000 degree Fahrenheit gases came in, and it basically melted the wing, and the shuttles went out of control, and they died. They all died. But the biggest tragedy would be if we don't continue to study hard, work hard, to carry on the legacy of those that have fallen before us. So people have given their lives so that you can have your sneakers, so you can have your cell phones, your iPods, all these things that you have. People back in history have blazed a trail and given their lives so that you can have these things today. And so we have to honor them by doing the best that we can to ensure that the future generations have all the things that you have and more, and can carry on a life and a legacy. So I just want to give a little shout out to the 107 crew, all my friends. Next, I'm going to show you my path to space. Here's a picture of me playing football when I was in 6th grade. Played for Paramount Elementary. I love sports, but I also love science. And when I was in 5th grade, my mom gave me a chemistry set. And this is one of those chemistry sets where you can mix these chemicals together and make little bombs. So I created a little bomb in the house and blew a hole in the carpet. So don't do that at home, okay? But it got me excited about chemistry. And my senior year in high school, any football players in here? Okay, football players. Any wide receivers? All right, wide receivers. Well, I was a wide receiver. I was a wide receiver on a running team. And my senior year, we were playing our homecoming game, and I was running down the sideline. We were down by a touchdown, running down the sideline. Start screaming. Running down the sideline. And running. The ball's being thrown. I'm in the end zone. The ball's coming to my hands. And what do you think happened? I dropped it. Okay. I failed. It was horrible. All my friends were there. All my boys were there from back in college. They came home. I dropped the touchdown pass in my hands. Well, my coach believed in me. My coach said, Leland, go in there and catch that ball. So this time, I ran down the sideline. Running down the sideline. What do you think happened this time? I caught it because I didn't give up on myself. How many people in here have failed? Okay, I failed tests, I failed things. But it's not that you fail, it's what you do after you fail. You pick yourself up, you study hard, you keep going, and you just make it happen. And so I didn't know this, but after I caught this touchdown pass in the end zone, there was a scout from the University of Richmond. You know University of Richmond right down the street? There was a scout, wide receiver scout in the end zone, in the stands, who was walking out after I dropped that pass the first time. And then he heard the crowd screaming again, and he looked over and saw me in the end zone like this. Hey. And so he then said, well, maybe if he can come back from such a horrific failure, maybe he can play for us. So I got a football scholarship to the University of Richmond. And I played football there, also studied chemistry, also did snowboarding and lots of other things. But what I'm trying to tell you is always believe in yourself. No matter what happens, you can believe in yourself and you can overcome a horrible event, horrible moment. So after graduating from college with a chemistry degree, I got drafted into the NFL in 1986 with the Detroit Lions. Now, the Detroit Lions didn't do too well this year, but back then I was a wide receiver playing with them, and I pulled a hamstring muscle. So I was talking to a young man over here from Chesterfield about him wanting to be an NBA player, and I said, what would happen if you hurt yourself? What would happen? What do you do if you can't achieve that dream that you want? And what I had was a backup plan, which was education. So I pulled a hamstring with Detroit, bounced around with some other teams, with the Dallas Cowboys and the Toronto Argonauts in Canada. And then that was pretty much the end of my football career. But I still had this education to fall back on. So I got an engineering degree from the University of Virginia right up the street. And I then went to work with NASA Langley, which is right down the street, doing fiber optic sensors. Now, how many of you talk on your cell phones and your home phones? Well, these signals that go through the air and make it down to the home phone go through something called optical fibers. And these optical fibers are like a little wire about the thickness of someone's hair, thickness of your hair, 125 microns. And we communicate through this glass with laser light, with light. And so instead of us, so that's how we use it currently. But what I was doing, I was taking these fibers and putting them in the space shuttle to measure strain, to measure temperature, to measure other things. So as an engineer, I was applying something we usually use for communication to tell if the vehicle is damaged. You know, we have something called a smart structure where, let's say you're driving your car and something hits you on the right side. And you want to know that, okay, how badly is it damaged? Can I still keep driving it? So a sensor can tell you how badly it's damaged and how much repair you need, which can save time and money from inspection. So that's kind of what I did for 10 years. And then I applied to the Astronaut Corps, and I got in. So that's me floating right there. That's one of the, I think we had a teacher in here. Who was the teacher that did the zero-G? Over here. She actually has done this. She's floated in an airplane. This is just a regular airplane. Now, how many of you have been on a roller coaster? Okay, so you know when you get to the top of the roller coaster, how you go over the top and your stomach feels like, oh. Well, that's microgravity. That's just like when you get in an airplane and fly like a parabola at the top of the roller coaster. It's the exact same thing. So in this airplane, we were able to get 25 seconds of microgravity or weightlessness. So I'm actually floating in that plane. I'll show you some video of that in a minute. And also doing educational things like outreach, and these are the kind of things that we do because we are here for you. Who are we here for? We're here for yes, because you are our future. You're the future explorers. You're the future doctors, lawyers, NBA ball players, who are then going to be, after your NBA career, then what are you going to do? You don't know. Okay. It's okay. Because I didn't know what I wanted to do either. But you got to have the education there. That's very important. So you get into the astronaut office, and you go through a series of basic training. This training right here is what we did right after we got there. It was 31 of us from all over the world, came together as a team. We do this land survival training up in Maine in case we're flying in our vehicle and we have to jump out and parachute out. How do you take care of yourself for, say, a day or two before someone can come and rescue you? So this is learning how to build fires, making shelters, learning how to eat bugs. What are the bugs that you can eat? There are no chocolate-covered bugs out there, so they're all kind of nasty. Here's Barbara Morgan. She was one of the first educator astronauts. She was a school teacher. How to read maps to get back to a safe area, safe zone. So that's land survival. Then we have water survival. If I have to jump out of the airplane over the water, how do I save myself? You parachute down. You learn how to eject out of the airplane. That's me being silly right there. Parachuting into the water. If you don't come out of your parachute quick enough, the wind can catch it and drag you through the water and you can drown. So it's very important to learn how to clip out quickly. When you get rescued from the helicopter, if you don't let the cable touch the water first, you can be electrocuted because there's so much energy in the cable from the rotors. So these are all things that you have to learn how to do before we fly in these NASA T-38s. These are high-performance jets that we fly to get training. Now, I'd never flown before I got to NASA, but once we got there, they showed me how to fly this. And it's a dual cockpit. There's a front seat and a back seat. And because I'm not a pilot, I sit in the back seat, but I have the same controls that the pilot does. So we do that. We learn how to fly. We learn how to land. These are all things to get you ready for space flight. Working together as a team, as a crew, working safely together. You know, one person's doing the computers, one person's flying, and we switch the roles. Now here's the KC-135, or we also call this the vomit comet, because some people get sick. I didn't get sick, but one of my crewmates did. So as you do this parabola, as you go over the top, you're actually getting 25 seconds of weightlessness. And the teacher over here who's done that said that she did about 12 of those, and she didn't get sick. So she's a trooper. Give her a hand. Okay, so we got into the Astronaut Corps. That was our basic training. So we did land survival, water survival, and then after the first couple of years, you learn all the systems for the space shuttle, systems for the space station, all to get you ready for getting a flight assignment. So before that, you actually work in the office in different capacities. And so I worked as a person who went to Russia and worked with the cosmonauts, the Russian cosmonauts. So I had to learn how to take Russian, learn how to speak Russian. We have Japanese astronauts, Italian astronauts, French astronauts. Now, how many of you speak languages in here? Okay. French, German. Okay, good. Spanish? ¿Cómo está? Russian? Yeah, so languages are very important because the biggest thing you need to do with an international crew is communicate, and communicate effectively. So that's something that's very important. Worked in Russia, also worked in the robotics branch. Anyone play video games in here? All right, just about everyone. Xbox, 360, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, what else? Nintendo? Wii, oh, Wii. Okay, I played the Wii a couple of times, but I've got a PlayStation 3. But anyway, if you can play video games really well, you'd be a great pilot, because a lot of the training that we do is on a computer, which is just like a video game. So I'm going to show, oh, who is this? These are my dogs, Jake and Scout. So I do a lot of hiking and camping. Anyone have dogs in here? All right. You have one dog? Well, these are Rhodesian Ridgebacks. They were bred to hunt lions in Africa. So they're fast and strong and can go for about a day without water if they have to. But these are my kids. So next I'm going to show you what it's like to fly in space and float in space and be in space. You guys want to take a look at that? Yeah. This is our patch. This is our class patch. So we had 7 people that went to space. Leo Eilhart's, the French guy is on the, this is on the bottom left. I think I have a laser pointer. Yeah. Let's see. Don't point in your eye. Okay. Leo Eilhart, Steve Frick was the commander. Alan Poindexter, he was a pilot. There's Rex Walheim, he was one of the mission specialists like myself, me, and then Heinz Schlegel was a German astronaut, and then Stan Love, he was one of the mission specialists and scientists on the mission. But we all worked together as a team, and here's a little video showing our walking out to the pad to get ready for the flight. So here's Steve and Dex, there's me in the back, there's Rex on the right, and there's Stan, Hans, and Leo. So about 3.5 hours before we launch, we have to get in the vehicle to get ready, get strapped in. It's very hard because you're on your back, so you have to climb up and anchor yourself down in the seat. You have technicians that are actually strapping you in. So we're all giving a little high five. This is about a few minutes before launch. There's Rex in the middle. This was down in Florida, Cape Canaveral. There's the water system that's coming in, so that when the engines come on, there's so much acoustic energy, so much sound, that if you didn't have the water in there, it would just rip the whole launch pad apart. There's so much energy in there. So the 3 engines lit, then the solid rocket boosters, these 2 white things on the side, they lit. There's an orange external tank. So we're rolling to a different orientation so that we have better communication with the ground. There's, as we're launching, this orange tank is putting out about the size of an Olympic-sized swimming pool every 5 seconds. That's how much fuel is going out into these 3 engines here. So after 2.5 minutes, the solid rocket boosters get jettisoned, and then we continue on to orbit with the external tank and the 3 engines back here. Another roll. We're starting to get to space. We're still feeling the acceleration of the vehicle. It's about 3 Gs. So if you weigh 100 pounds on Earth, you would feel like you're weighing 300 pounds as you're being accelerated into space. After about 8.5 minutes, there's some pyrotechnics that go off, and we are now in space. The tank falls back to the Earth. So I had to get up out of my seat right there, get a video camera, and film the tank falling back to the Earth. When the Columbia accident, there was that foam that came off, and we want to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Here's some fuel that's venting out of the tank as it spins back into the atmosphere. We get to space, we open up the payload bay doors, and the first thing we do is use this robotic arm to attach it to another arm, or it's a boom actually, that has sensors on it. So there's the boom. It's about a 50-foot composite boom that we take out and we inspect the entire orbiter. Because of the Columbia accident, we want to make sure that the wings and the tiles are intact. So this is one of the tiles. That's looking through a camera. And if you look here, this is going along the surface of the wing. And if you see in there, there's Hans actually looking out to give us clearances. We're flying over Peru, South America right here. That's the orbiter doing a flip. so that the people up on the space station, as we're getting close to the space station, they can actually take pictures of the tiles here. So if there's any damage, they can send those pictures down to the ground and tell them that we have a damage and we can maybe go out and do a spacewalk and repair it. So then we finish up our flip maneuver, and now we're ready to start docking to the space station. See the space station rising in the back? This piece right here is our docking port. Steve is flying. Rex is using a laser rangefinder, just like the policemen use to tell you how fast you're going. So we're trying to take this docking port and attach it to, move it to the space station. So Steve is giving inputs like in a video game. He's giving a couple of bursts here with the jets. There's the station, there's the shuttle. We're moving at about maybe a 0.1 feet per second. So here's the final symphony to get docked to the station. This docking ring here attaches there. You have to be within about 1.5 inches all the way around, or it's a bad docking. So we celebrate, we get there, we're really happy, shaking hands. Here's Dr. Peggy Whitson. She's the commander of the space station. So she was the first female commander. And when we docked to the space station, it was her birthday. So we took her to Columbus. Columbus is the research laboratory we had. So there's me hugging Yuri. He's a Russian cosmonaut. After we got there, we started eating. This is over in the Russian segment. Dan's floating on the ceiling. Would come down and scoop up some food and go back up like a little bat. We call him Batman. So we're eating Russian food. We brought over some vegetables, American food. After our meal, we got together and started studying for the first spacewalk. Here's, this is the Swiss Alps. If you look out the hatch, Rex and Stan Love are going to go out the hatch and perform the first spacewalk. So that's them in their spacesuits. These spacesuits are just like their own little space vehicle. And you have your heating, your cooling, water. You have a diaper if you have to use the bathroom. Here's a grapple fixture that we're using to attach. We're attaching this to this Columbus module in the payload bay. Now here I am flying the robotic arm, carrying Stan over there so that he can actually attach this piece here. His feet are in this boot plate here, and we're using tools to screw down these attachments and these different components. It's very important that you communicate very well, you work very well. Rex is telling me, move me in, 4 feet this way, move me in 5 feet this way. If I don't hear him correctly, I can crush him by taking him too far to the module. So it's very important that we communicate and work together very effectively. Every 45 minutes, the sun goes up and goes down. Every 90 minutes, we go around the Earth. So when we're in nighttime, we have lights that we use to continue doing our work. These spacewalks last for about up to 7.5, 8 hours. So you have to make sure that you can work through the daylight and the nighttime. Another component we were taking up was some nitrogen tanks. So these had a protective shroud around them. And now I'm moving him out of this is Rex now, I'm moving him out of the payload bay with this nitrogen tank. So my video game skills were helping me quite a bit here. We have hand controllers that we fly, and this is where I'm flying in to grab one to this Columbus module. This is the laboratory. So there I'm flying, and now Leo's Batman, and we're taking this huge payload out of the payload bay. We don't have any windows, we have 3 monitors and 2 other monitors up here that allow me to have camera views. There's a camera right there to allow me to see the interfaces and see how to attach it to the space station. So why are we attaching this laboratory? We do microgravity research on bones, on materials, on different things. How do we make a better tennis shoe? How do we make a better airplane? How do we make better medicine that can help you here on Earth? This is a picture of our Earth with the Earth limb, and this is something called the Southern Lights. It's high energy particles hit the atmosphere and cause these lights. Beautiful picture. There's the moon. This is the Italian Alps. You see the snow in the mountains here coming down to the boot of Italy here. After installing the Columbus module, we had to remove some panels to get everything outfitted inside of it. So there are different pieces of this that had to get set up to get ready to start doing research. Any future engineers or researchers in here? Okay, good, good. And here's Hans Schlegel working on the Columbus module. Here's some research that he was doing. We also take lots of pictures. Look out the window. This is in the Russian segment. And this is the Caribbean. Look how blue the water is. Turquoise blue, indigo. I mean, just really, really blue, beautiful colors. All in the Caribbean. This is like one of the Russian segments there. You have to know how to sleep in space, too. So here's Dan sleeping on the floor. Here's Rex sleeping in between two bags. Makes you feel more like you're at home. There's Hans on the floor. We have these sleeping bags that we attach to the different walls and different surfaces. There's Dex sleeping on the ceiling. And there's Steve sleeping on the wall. So you can sleep in any orientation because there's no up or down in space. So after 11 days of working hard, installing things, doing spacewalks, we are now ready to say goodbye. So here's Peggy, all of us saying goodbye. And Dex is now undocking, so we're doing the opposite of coming in, so now Dex is flying. His hand right there is on the hand controller, so that's what's giving the inputs for us to back away from the station. There's a robotic arm, there's some lights, here's another robotic arm that's on the shuttle, bless you. And here's the space station. This is what we installed. That was the part that I installed. And here's the rest of the space station as we leave and go further away. We're about maybe 2 miles away from the station. You see the curvature of the Earth. It's just really beautiful. Solar array panels for generating electricity. Radiators for rejecting heat that we build up from the space station. And here's Dan Tani. He was in space for about 4 months. And here's Rex doing stupid astronaut tricks. He's supposed to be riding a bicycle, but instead he decides to bump his head. This is before we're coming home. We were able to talk to our family and friends. We're saying goodbye. We're about to get ready to come home. So you launch as a rocket, you go to space, work together with the space station, and then you come home as a glider. We've got to put our pumpkin suits back on because if something happens, you have to bail out over the ocean. Your suits will save you. They're pressurized, and you can bail out into a life raft with a parachute. Flipping some final switches here, and Rex is there. I'm in the back over here. Here's Dex, and here's Steve over here. And then we have 3 other people on the flight deck. So we left Leo up there, and we brought Dan back home. This plasma is about 3,000 degrees. It leaves a trail behind the shuttle as we come back in the atmosphere. So we come back in like an airplane. Steve's flying. He deploys the landing gear. We're going about 250 miles per hour right now. We line up with the runway, and we are back home. Beautiful landing. Did a great job. Just waiting to touch down here with the nose gear. This parachute deploys to help us rotate down so that we can come down to the runway. So we were up in space for 13 days. We went around the Earth at 17,500 miles per hour, and we ended up with 5.3 million miles of travel around the Earth. It was an amazing, amazing flight. Glad to be home. Now I want to show you something that's kind of funny here. Talked about planes get food in space. This is what it looks like. M&M's, water, tortilla, and peanut butter. There's my water bubble. I want to make this huge water bubble. And watch this. Look how big it is. M&M croquet.
Are you ready for separation?
I was crazy. You know why? After I swallowed the water bubble, I had like three M&Ms in there. And so you usually like eat maybe a couple M&Ms and you chew them up and then you take them down your throat. I took the water in and the M&Ms like went straight to my throat. And I felt like I started to choke. So don't do that at home, okay? Please don't do that at home. All right, so in space for a while, play with your food. This is how you're supposed to ride the bicycle in space. Let me show you this.
Hey, Dex. What you doing? Just hanging out, filming Leland. Hey, Doogie.
You can be silly in space too. If you look at this, these are storage bags with all of our space suits, our orange pumpkin suits that we had. This is the mid-deck down below. So you have the flight deck and then the mid-deck below. There's a bicycle here. There's lots of storage compartments here. And also there are other storage bags back here. So we were sleeping here on this wall, on the floor in front of the bicycle, and then on this wall right over here. There's 7 of us sleeping in there, so it got really tight. So it's like camping with your buddies, you know? Got to be really, really close quarters. I also want to show you some more of the space station. I'm flying over, I've got a video camera, and I'm floating over from the Russian segment. So this piece right here is called the FGB. It's one of the first pieces that went up from Russia, from Kazakhstan, and in Russia. So these are food containers, these are storage bags, there's clothes in here that are drying, and this piece right here is connected to the node, the first American piece that went up back in 1998. So I'm floating through the Russian segment, then coming into the US segment, and now you're going to see me floating. And in space, you don't use your legs much. You primarily use your arms to pull you around. If you use anything in your legs, it's also your feet to hold yourself in place. So if you have shoes in space, instead of having the leather on the bottom, you want to put the leather on the top because you never use the bottom of your feet in space. So one guy took his shoes, he had some bedroom slippers, he took the leather off the bottom and flipped it over on the top because you get calluses over a long duration flight, you get calluses on the top of your feet. So it's important to have the right configuration of your shoes. So if you look here, storage bags, this is the computer system I was working on for the robotics. So I'm floating through the US laboratory now. There's a bicycle right there, it's a space station bicycle. There are computers everywhere, there are bags, there are things all over the place. You have to learn how to work in very confined spaces. Now I've left the laboratory and I'm heading into the node. So the nodes are like, anyone play with Tinker Toys? They're kind of like the round pieces for Tinker Toys that kind of bring all the connections together. So I'm trying to make my way over to the space shuttle. So I'm going to turn the camera around and go through another hatch. So here's the hatch that takes us from the space station over to the space shuttle. So it's hard to hold the camera and fly at the same time. But I'm working it. So now I'm in the space shuttle. And as you come in, you have to turn yourself over because the orientation is different. So I got stuff in that hose. And now I'm upside down. I'm going to flip myself back around. So he's eating, I'm upside down. But in space there's no up or down, right? So those are storage containers. These are our drink bags. Rex has just finished doing EVA. He's pretty tired. Velcro everywhere. Bungees everywhere. That's the galley, how we make our food. Use scissors to cut our food open. There's a bag there for trash, duct tape. So that's kind of how we live on the space shuttle. Very confined. That's where water comes out of that and goes into our bags, our drink bags as well as our food bags. That's kind of a layout of the shuttle. The next thing we're going to do is go back to the moon and to Mars one day. So we need a new vehicle. The shuttle's really old, so it's time to build something new. We're looking at something called the Ares vehicle to take us up to the space station and then continue on the same type of vehicle to go back to the moon. Same kind of launch pad from Florida, we're launched from Florida. And use a system similar to the shuttle with the solid rocket boosters and external tank, but this time have the astronauts at the top. So if there's a failure, we'll be above it and won't have the tank hitting us. So that's how we're planning to redesign the new vehicles. So maybe one of you in here will fly on this vehicle and go to Mars one day. What do you think? The first Virginian to walk on the Martian surface. That would be really cool. And you guys can do it. I'm going to cut that off. The next picture I'm going to show you is a picture of the Earth from the moon. How far is the moon from the Earth? A long way. How many thousands of miles? I told you guys a little while ago. 240,000 miles. And the last person to be on the moon was Eugene Cernan, commander of the last Apollo mission. We leave as we came, and God willing, as we shall return, with peace and hope for humankind. That's what you guys are going to do one day. Maybe one of you will be the first to plant the American flag on the Martian surface. There's a picture right there of what it will look like on the Martian surface. Anyone see the inauguration? Did you see the rover in the parade? We had this really cool rover. We're thinking about maybe taking something up like that to allow us to do even more research from a moon base. You can drive out and actually sleep and live in the rover and do experiments in there. This is African American Heritage Month. These are most of the African American astronauts. If I see in you and us that one day any of you in here can become an astronaut. Any of you in here can become anything you want to. If you what? Eat your green beans, listen to your parents and teachers, apply yourself, work hard, and live your dreams. All right, thank you guys. Fun now. But before we do that, I want to ask you guys if you have any questions very quickly. We want to do some fun and game stuff. Yes, ma'am. Okay, that's not a, okay. That is a question, but we'll do that later. Okay. Okay, yes, sir. The difference between a spaceship and a space shuttle. I don't know. What do you think? Well, the space shuttle started as a space ship because it launched with rockets. Some of them were expendable, some of them were engines that were on the shuttle, but then it turned into an airplane. So the space shuttle is kind of like a plane, like a rocket. Some spaceships only have the rockets, and then they come in and the module comes in a different way. So they're both kind of the same, I think. But go to Google and look it up. All right, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, can you speak up a little bit? Planet X? I haven't heard about Planet X. You know about Planet X?
Planet X is real.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on the other side of the sun.
Okay, by the way, this is Richard, who's going to give us a wonderful demonstration. He's from NASA Langley. But he will tell you more about Planet X.
It's real in comic books. We don't have any evidence that there's such a real thing, but there's supposed to be a counter world where you and I are living on the other side of the sun, and we don't ever see each other.
Like a parallel universe or something?
It's like a parallel universe, a parallel world.
Like the movie Deja Vu, did you see that?
Yeah.
Where they kind of bent time back a little bit. And
Yeah, I'd like to bend time back a little bit.
that would too.
As long as I can retain my knowledge.
That's right, yeah. Yes, ma'am. You have to go through medical training to go to space. Well, I was a crew medical officer on our flight, and I actually did do some medical training. I worked in the emergency room. I learned how to sew people up, and yeah, it was kind of fun. But yeah, medical training, because you want to have someone in the vehicle that can sew you up if something happens. And we actually had some medical things happen on our flight that we had to crawl the ground and do some things. So yes, you do. Good question. Let's see. Yes, sir. Take an aspirin. Same kind of stuff as on the ground. I mean, if you cut yourself, put a Band-Aid on, same types of things happen up there. You're just floating around. When I got to space, your whole body grows about 1 inch in space. And so my spine elongated, so we measured ourselves, we're all like 1 inch taller. But because of that, when you go to sleep, when I went to sleep, I actually had a little bit of back pain. So what I had to do was curl up in a ball, and that kind of relieved some of the pain on my back. So those are some things that happen that you don't have on Earth.
And then when you came back, you shrank back down.
Exactly. 1 inch. So in space, I was an inch taller, came right back down, they measured me, was an inch shorter. So stay in space and you grow longer.
And actually, you grow longer every night because the same forces. You're lying down, and so gravity's pulling you down this way. And what happens is your vertebrae spread just a little bit. So every morning, if you measure yourself, you're about a 1/4 inch taller. You've got to measure yourself within 10 minutes of getting up.
Right. Good question. In the red shirt, right there. Yes, sir.
Have you been to Pluto?
Have I been to Pluto? Okay, good question. But no. We haven't been to any planets yet. We haven't had humans go to any planets yet. The first planet that we're going to probably look at going to is Mars. But right now we don't have the technology to get us there fast enough. Because if I flew to Mars right now, it would take about 6 months to get there. And if I couldn't exercise by the time I got there, my bones would be somewhat brittle to where if I stepped out of the spaceship, I could break my leg when I sat down. So we've got to figure out how to make ways to do exercise and fly these long distances or shorten the distances. Okay. 2 more questions. Okay. Yes, ma'am. How many times have I gone to space? My first flight was this last February, and I'm going again in November, so that'll be my second time when I fly in November. That's a good question. Yes, sir.
How long did it take to get to space?
Okay, how long did it take to get to space? Anyone know?
3 minutes.
How many minutes? 5, 10, 20, 30, an hour? 5 minutes? 10 minutes? Close. 8.5 minutes. 8.5 minutes to get to space. So it's pretty quick. And what we call space is when we're about 80 to 90 miles up from the surface of the Earth. So that's where you start floating. But you start floating because you're really in free fall around the Earth. So like a roller coaster. But hey, I'm going to turn this over to Rich. We've got some really cool stuff we want to show you. Liquid nitrogen, really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Tiles that can keep away the heat. So anyway, what do you think?
Okay. And what I need are some volunteers at times. And I'm going to ask Ms. Melvin to find me a couple of volunteers because we want to talk about conditions, the conditions of space.
Come on.
As you noticed, there wasn't any gravity where he was.
I need you. Go ahead, go on up. How many more?
Oh, they'll do for right now, and
Okay,
then
we'll
get some more in a minute. How about that? All right. Okay, we've got an athlete. Very good. I bet you've got good lung capacity, don't you? Mm-hmm. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me move this out of the way first. And I have this bag here, and I want you to blow it up for me. It's a long tube, and it's got a tie in the end. And then I'm going to ask you about Bernoullis Principle. Bernoulli, a dead Swiss mathematician. But it's why airplanes fly. So, would you blow this bag up for me and use only 3 breaths? 1, don't suck it back out. 2, 3. Let's see how we did. Oh, well, I thought you played b-ball. Yeah? Don't you get tired at the end of the game? That was your lung capacity there. Let me teach you a trick, all right? Lung capacity is just what's in your lung. You want to pull more air in. You want to use Bernoulli's principle. Bernoulli says that if you make air go fast, the higher the velocity of the air, the lower the pressure. Nature hates low pressure, always sends high pressure after it. So, if you were to blow in this bag and hold it like this, and just blow about this far away, you could put more air in there than just your lung capacity, because you will gather all this air around. That's one of the ways that an airplane wing works. It gathers the air around it, pushes it down, and Newton says if you push something one way, you have to go the other way. So it's action-reaction. You want to try that? Yeah, I'll demonstrate once, okay? You give it another good blow right in there. Oh, come on, you can do better now. Blow hard. The more velocity, the lower the pressure. Excellent. Oh, wow. Okay, so now, so now what we're doing is using what? Our brains. Exactly. Yeah. So now we're using a little knowledge about Bernoulli's principle, right? Now, I want to ask you how much air weighs. Oh, well, he didn't get that in school yet. How much does air weigh? Well, air weighs a lot. It's pushing down on us. You feel air, right? You can't see it, but you can feel it. That's why we use fans and stuff. So we have to fly through air to get anywhere, to get into space, or for jets and things to fly around. We need to fly through the air, and air weighs something. Here we're near sea level, and it weighs 14.7 pounds per every square inch. It's got a pressure, it pushes on us. Now you guys know that gases expand to fill a room. That's why this air fills all this room, right? So if I was going to ask this young man, and what is your name? Cody. What was your name? David. Cody, I have a glass of white wine here. No, this is a glass of water. And that glass of water, this is what? A sticker? What's it say on it? It's a NASA sticker. What's NASA stand for? Did you hear it? It's in there somewhere. Yeah. Aeronautics and Space Administration. You're close. Very close. Okay, so because we know that air is pushing down and it pushes in all directions, it ought to push up too, shouldn't it? So that's why we don't feel like air feels like anything, because it's pushing up on our hand just as much as it's pushing down. So what if I was to take this NASA sticker and put it over this glass of water and turn the glass of water upside down over your head? What's going to happen?
It's going to stay.
Huh? What do you think will happen? I put it over here and just put it right over your head or something. Wow! Now wait a minute. We got all the elements to solve this. What happened? How much air is pushing up? More air than the water inside weighs. 14.7 pounds per square inch pushing up. And there's only about 6 ounces of water in it. Now if we move the card and let some more air in, guess what would happen? We'd make a mess. Yeah. So we're not going to do that. I'll turn this back over. I'll give you this NASA sticker. Now those NASA stickers are really great on the refrigerator. Don't tell your mom I said so. Actually, you can tell your mom I said so. And there's one for you. Give them a big hand. Good luck. Very well. Okay, now we need a couple of more volunteers, Mr. Melvin. All right.
Let's see. Who else? See what the ladies can do. Any more?
We have 3 good volunteers up here. Wait a minute. Can women be scientists? That's your last patootie they can. Yeah.
Now, when I showed you the pictures earlier, we had the first female commander, Dr. Peggy Whitson. She ran track, she played basketball, she had a PhD in chemistry. So yes, women can be scientists.
They tell me, and I don't know if it's true, so I'm going to ask you, that often they put a woman on the robotics arm because fine motor control or something. Is that true that they often put women on these robotic arms?
They put women, they put men.
There's no big difference? No big difference. I figured it was because women actually read instructions, men don't. And so that's probably why they did that. Now, what do we do at NASA? Besides invent things for cool stuff, like we go to space, yeah. And do you know anything about Newton's laws? First and second and third law? Third law is what's called action and reaction. When you have an action, you saw the space shuttle you flew in. When you have an action, all that fire coming out the back, what does the space shuttle have to do? It has to go the other way. So I have a rocket here that I've just blown up with air. Doesn't look much like a rocket, does it? But if you guys were to help me lead a countdown, we'll go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll launch this rocket, and we'll see if Mr. Newton is correct, because the air inside is now under pressure, because this is elastic. So, how about a countdown? You guys ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The other thing we do at NASA is we try again when things don't work right. We learn from mistakes. Somebody told me once, failure is not an option. That was an old Deke Slayton thing. Failure is not an option. It's a requirement. You can't learn without doing some failing. Don't think the Wright brothers learned how to fly without failing a bunch, do you? No, they didn't. So how about we do something like fall off the stage? How about we do something with a little air pressure? Here's your NASA lab coat. And here's your NASA lab coat. And I'm going to let you wear my NASA lab coat. And we are going to prove a hypothesis. Who knows what a hypothesis is? You. And what is that trial called that you do? You experiment, right? And so we're going to do a hypothesis. I'm giving you my coat, which is the biggest, because you would rule this. There. These are all our NASA lady scientists. You will be unsafe if you don't roll your sleeves up a little bit. We want safety. Okay? And what we're going to do is just test a hypothesis that I learned from my grandmother. My grandmother told me when she was young, she saw a broom straw driven into an oak tree by a hurricane. After the hurricane, she found the broom straw driven into the oak tree. Now, can you get these on? Because we only have one pair of beautiful eyes and we need to protect them. So one of the things we do at NASA a lot is pay attention to safety. Right. In fact, Langley is like the safety center. NASA Langley is like the safety center for all of the centers. And what we want to do is test my grandmother's hypothesis. My hypothesis is grannies don't lie. Okay? That's my hypothesis. And we want to test it. Now, can we get a hurricane in here? Can we get a oak tree in here? How about we do, what's that called when you do something and it mimics something else, like you're flying and you use a...
When I fly the robotic arm on the ground, we simulate.
Simulate. So we'll do a simulation. There we go. Of that. What I have in here is my hurricane. There's 100 pounds of pressure in that tank. Okay? What I have here is my pencil accelerator. Because I don't know if I can accelerate a broom straw all that cool, but I have a pencil here. There's a number 2 pencil. You're not just okay. And so I'm going to need a trigger lady. It's you. You're going to stand up here and help me with the trigger. And then I need 2 observers down at the target end who can take notes and tell us what happened. All right? So you target ladies, come down with me. Trigger lady, you just stand here for a moment. Okay? What we need is something to simulate that oak tree. Okay? And I need to find this green box and get a piece of wood out. Wouldn't it be nice if I didn't have it? Then it's all for naught. Okay, so now we want to do a simulation to prove the hypothesis. Now what we would do at NASA is we would simulate again and again and again and again, because this isn't real. This is just fake, but we can learn from it. So this is my oak tree. Is it hard? Do you think a pencil would? No, maybe not. Huh? Okay, well, we'll set it up here on the target. And I want you girls to come over here behind. And I'm going to teach you NASA speak. Because NASA doesn't talk like the rest of us. You know, I could ask you, is the target area okay? And you could say, yeah, it's okay. They don't do that. You have to learn NASA speak, okay? Because you're NASA scientists now. You have to say, Roger, Richard, green to go. Okay? All right? So when I ask you if that's safe, you say, Roger, Richard, green to go. Okay? Now I'm going to put on my safety glasses here.
Line it up a little bit more.
We're going to have a line up. Trigger lady, come on over here. How about with the other pencil?
What do you think? Is it going to work or not? Is it?
What do you think? Everybody's got their hypothesis. Yeah, grannies don't lie. Yeah, so now that's the extension of this hypothesis. That's what we're going to measure now. Pick pencil. Okay, push it in there. Point first. Okay, and then we'll use this as a little ramrod. You can see the pencil come out here. Here it is. We're going to shut the breech. We're going to turn on the air, the hurricane. Now what we need is something else. So this balloon, we'll put this in the middle. What do you think this does? What do you think this is for? What does this? Why am I doing this? Drama. That's why I'm doing it. It's a lot more fun. You saw him eating a bubble full of M&Ms. It's a lot more fun to make play of science. And so I'd like to put a balloon in the middle of it. Okay, and so now, if you watch the pencil, you might not see it because it's going to go 200 miles an hour. and it's going to come out that end. Now, I noticed that with kids do the same thing all the time. I tell them that the pencil's going to go 200 miles an hour into a block of wood, and they go, yeah, okay. And I put a balloon in the way, and they go, you know, like the balloon makes a big difference. But balloons pop, and you've had them pop, right? So what I want you to do, Miss Trigger Lady, is you come right here and put your hands right like that. Like that, and then I'm going to squeeze your hand like that, okay? You just let go when we're going to give a burst of air.
Now let's get a countdown from the audience.
We have to have a countdown. NASA never does a thing without a countdown. Go to launch test. 5, 4, 3, 2. Go to launch. There we go. Okay, so how about...
And you guys get set, I'll get the countdown ready.
Okay, you do the countdown for me. That's perfect. Okay, we're all set. You put your hand on... Oh, wait a minute. Is the target area clear and safe? Now we're going to try that one more time, because I know NASA training takes better than this. Roger, Richard. Roger.
There we go.
Yes.
Right.
Isn't NASA training great? I just love it. Okay, so now we'll put your hands on there. Okay, and I'm going to squeeze your hand, and we're going to have to do it on a countdown.
Ready? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Wow! Let's check this out.
Wow.
All right, NASA scientists, come up here. Tell me what happened. It broke the wood, it popped the balloon. What happened to the pencil? Right there? Why don't you pick it up and see what it's like? Come on, stop. No. The balloon was stuck to the pencil. Could you write with that pencil? Can you write your name on there?
Wow. You can.
So it went right through the block of wood and didn't even break the pencil.
Wow. The pencil lead is still there.
The pencil lead is still there. There you go. Okay, you can have that with your name on it. You may have the pencil, and you can have the block of wood. And give these girls a big hand if they're giving you that. Good job. All right, now I want to give you all some NASA stickers. I'm going to give everybody the last stickers. How about that? I'm going to give them to your teachers to hand out, or I'm going to hand them out to you as you wander away. But I want to make sure that these girls get one for helping me out. Well, that was good job. Great job. Good job. Study hard, okay? Thank you. Now, you guys have your seats again. All right, thank you. And thank you very much for helping me out and proving that girls are scientists. What are you looking for? Your sticker. Where are your stickers go? There's a good one. There you go. Okay, let's first find out what things fly. Okay, from the audience. What flies? I can't understand you. Hen birds. What else? What else? Absolutely. A no-brainer that astronauts fly. And do you fly with wings? Like birds?
No wings.
No, we can't get the muscles right. And plus we have very hard bones. Birds have hollow bones, so they're lighter weight. Yeah, but we fly heavy things. What's the shuttle weigh? It must weigh a gazillion pounds. Yeah, and so all that thrust, there's millions of pounds of thrust, can actually launch that into the air. So it's a pretty amazing machine. Probably one of the most complex things until we built the International Space Station.
Exactly. 2 million moving parts.
2 million moving parts. It's just phenomenal to me that you got to fly. I'm so envious. Okay, let me move this out of the way so it's not in our way. We want to see what else flies. You have any idea if air flies? Does air fly? Air fly? We just saw air fly, didn't we? Or at least we saw it thrust a pencil. But you think air can fly? So air. This is one I built before I found out you could buy them. And then I bought one, and it's pretty cool. We'll get Mr. Photographer over there, and we'll just send some air his way. Okay? So now, can you feel that? I can't get it way back, but I can get it into the middle. And this is air flying. Oh, and this is coming apart. So let me ask you a question. What shape is it? Huh? Any shape? Could you get me a volunteer?
Yes.
And we're going to form this time. And we're going to see about the shape of the air. Annie. Well, Annie, I wonder what else it could be. What else do you think it could be? What other shapes do you think we could have here? Rectangular prism. So what made you think of that? Because you've used one to split light before, haven't you? Yeah. What's your name? Malik? Come on up here, Malik. Malik, I want to show you how this works. Okay? First, I'm going to blast it. Okay? You feel it? Okay. All I'm doing is a piece of plastic back here, and I'm just pushing it in, not too hard, but like that. Can you do that? Just push it in. Well, how about if I hold this? Okay. Can you just give it a push in there? Yeah, excellent. Not too hard, though. All right. How are we going to see the air? Something I could see, could color it somehow. How about we don't use smoke in here because this is a library. And we don't smoke in a library. But I have artificial fog. And so how about we just put some artificial fog in there? Okay, now we know air flies because we've seen it. Malik, push some artificial fog out. Do it again. Do it again. Oh, that was even better. Now you got it. Go ahead, give them more. Good one. Good one. Do a whole bunch in a row. Do a whole bunch in a row. Go. Boom, 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 boom. Great. Thank you very much. Let me give you a sticker. So now we've learned great toys, you know. So now he gets the best toy. He gets that 2 million part toy, and I get a piece of plastic with a NASA sticker on it. But that's all right. I'm not envious. But if I wasn't old and fat, I would try to be an astronaut. Because that's got to be one of the coolest things you can do. Now, I know people, I've talked to a lot of astronauts, and a lot of people will say, you know, study hard. Yeah, well, that's a no-brainer. We want to study hard.
Eat your green beans.
Eat your green beans. And I ask people, well, how do you get to actually be so lucky as to be an astronaut? And most of them tell me, you just get yourself prepared.
Yeah.
You do what you love, and when you're good at something, it's because you like doing it. So you do what you like to do. Get prepared, and when the opportunity comes, grab it. Right? Is that the way?
Exactly. I never thought about becoming an astronaut when I was a kid, but I studied hard, I worked out, I did a lot of things, and then when I got the phone call, I was ready. So always be prepared. You never know when you get that phone call.
And did you apply then? You had this big application process.
Yeah, I did apply. It was a government form, government application, filled that out, and submitted my application, and then I got a phone call to come to interview. So when I came to interview, we interviewed with 120 other people, and they selected 30 of us.
So out of, well, actually, the interview process was weeding down from thousands of applications.
We had 2,500 people apply for 31 spots.
So there's a bit of luck involved there, but you got yourself prepared.
But you got to be prepared first, exactly.
Excellent. Well, I think what we need to do is look about conditions in space itself. And so I have a jug of liquid nitrogen. You know what nitrogen is, right? It's in the air. Takes up 75%, 78% of the air. Yeah? So it's a gas, right? When it's a liquid, it's cold. So this liquid nitrogen is 196 degrees Celsius below zero. And if you like the other form, it's 321 Fahrenheit below zero. And what I can do is you can't see liquid nitrogen because it is actually clear. What you can see is clouds. There's water vapor in the air. That's what we're seeing. The water vapor is condensing and making a little cloud. But if you look in there, you see what's in there. You just see a cloud.
You see a cloud, and then a little liquid down the bottom.
The liquid looks kind of like water.
Yeah, don't drink it.
I won't. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, and so I need somebody to help me. I'll just select one more person. Let's see.
No, right here, in the white coat.
All right, we're going to make you a NASA scientist.
Another scientist, huh?
Yes, another female. This is good. Okay. I get a little warm, even though that's 321 degrees below zero. I'm going to put on some goggles, because we are thinking about safety. And because this is so cold, we're also going to put on these cryo gloves. So, get a button there so it won't fall off. And you put on these gloves. I usually put them on with the thumb side in. The other hand works better because
I do that all the time.
yeah, it happens, especially when you've got big, beautiful gloves like this.
Exactly.
All right. And what is your name? Valeria. ¿Habla español? Sí. Okay. Poquito de español. ¿Sí? Suficiente. Okay. Esto es nitrógeno. Accents on the first syllable. Okay, so we have some liquid nitrogen. And what I want you to do is carefully put these three balls in here. Now, these three balls are...
I'm going to put my safety glasses on too.
Yeah, that'd be good. You got to wonder how safe they are. You can't see through them. Okay, so we're going to prepare with these balls. Now, what kind of balls have we got here? What is that? That's a ping pong ball, right? You want to put that in there? Drop it right into the And what do you think this is? What's it doing? You have to tell the audience if you don't have a camera up here to show. What's it doing? It's floating around? It's floating. It's floating on top of that liquid. Okay? Now here we have another ball. Whoa. Whoa. Bouncy ball. Good catch. Drop that sucker in there. And then we have, oh, boy's boiling.
And where did that one go?
Look at that. It's down on the bottom.
On the bottom. That one went to the bottom.
Because it's not hollow. And so it has more density than the nitrogen. Oh.
Get that ball! All right, thank you.
Okay, now put that racquetball in there, and let's see what happens. Okay, now we're going to cover it up and let it come to temperature right now. It's called equilibrium. And the reason that we do that is because we want those balls to be nice and cold so we can see what they do. Okay? And this is a use for liquid nitrogen here on Earth. If we build a spacesuit, we're going to take it to space, we want to make sure that it can survive thermal cycling, what they call it. So that means it can be hot and it can be cold. Well, we can heat things up in an oven, but how do we get things cold? Freezer can only go down so far. Antarctica can only go down so far. This is colder than that. This is as cold as that.
Do you guys know how cold it was when we were facing into the deep of space in our spacesuits? Minus 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Very cold.
Yeah.
And in the sun, it was positive 250 degrees. So you have to be able to handle that extreme. So these tests help us figure out what materials work in that environment.
Yes, and materials is part of what you did with chemistry. And so every one of those we put in there was a polymer. That means it's a chainy molecule.
Like your tennis shoes, the rubber in your tennis shoes.
Rubbers, plastics, they're all polymers. And so we're going to take some of those out and see what happens. Okay? Now, form your hypothesis. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? You think something's going to happen to those balls? How about we get the bouncy ball first? Get down to the bottom and grab it up. Okay? Now, what do you think about that? What's it doing? Smoking. So what it's doing is finding water vapor around it. And it's very, very cold right now. So what do you think is going to happen if we drop it on the stage like we did before? Remember how it bounced all the way up? Oh, nothing. It changed properties. But if you wanted something bouncy in space, is this the thing you want?
You don't want that.
No, you don't want that. And spacesuits have joints, right? You have to be able to bend your elbow. And I guess the gloves must be really tough because you're always squeezing against pressure, aren't you? Yeah. So that spacewalks are just strenuous things. So let's look at one of the other balls that's in there. Would you like to grab the ping pong ball? I heard somebody say ping pong, like they want to play again. You get squeeze it together good and tight. Don't jump in there. There you go. Okay, now what's going to happen when we drop that one? Got her? Okay. Let's drop that polymer and see what happens. It's very much like it was. Now, you can't do this at home, okay? Because I know what I'm doing, I picked up something that was very, very cold. If anything comes out towards you, it's very, very cold. Don't pick it up because it'll give you frostbite. All right? You know, like if I was accidentally to kick this thing over and liquid nitrogen went flying up, run away. Now, we've got one last ball in there, the racket ball. You want to get that one out? Okay, does it look much different?
Looks the same.
Looks about the same? Hold it up high and drop it. Hold it up way high and drop it. What did you do? Well, you know. Is this something that we want to use for the joints in our spacesuit? No way. We do not want to use that for our spacesuit. Not good. Not good, because this particular polymer doesn't like being rigid and cold. It breaks. So, I want to thank you very much for coming up and helping me. And now we'll take this hot stuff off of it. Good job. Thank you. I'm going to give you a sticker for helping. And study hard and okay? We need scientists. You know, for every astronaut that's lucky, you're welcome. For every astronaut that's lucky enough to go into space, we've got, what, 50, 100,000 engineers that get them there. They build things like the Space Shuttle.
Everyone's part of this big team working together.
Yeah, and so he might be at the apex of this team, the very top of the pyramid, you know, in his job. But he's got all these teammates down there supporting him. It's kind of like being a quarterback. They get a lot of attention, but without the team, it doesn't work. And that's one thing NASA does very, very well, is make teams. All right, I need another volunteer. We're going to make you a NASA astronaut. Quickly here. Scientist, right. I don't have time to make her an astronaut, nor the knowledge. Okay, come over and get your beautiful one-size-fits-all gloves. Get a little button there. Whoops, that's the wrong hand. Sorry. All right. Now, what I want you to do is tell me what this is. A flower? Slowly coming. Is it soft and pretty? Like a flower? Should it be? Let's put it in liquid nitrogen. Sound good? Okay. So what we're going to do is put this in the liquid nitrogen. What I want you to do is just stick its head down there in liquid nitrogen and hold it for a little bit. You'll see the nitrogen boil. Don't stick it too far. That's good. Yeah, look at it go. It's still a flower. Isn't it pretty? Isn't it nice? It smells good. It's a nice little flower.
It's a boiling flower.
It's a boiling flower. It's boiling the nitrogen. Now, let me ask you a question. What's going to happen when it comes out? Is it all blackened and blue, or is it smaller and shrink? No? Okay, let's take it out. All right, now I will hold the stem. You come over here and give the flower head a nice big squeeze with your glove. Oh, wow. Wow. Oh. Poor flower, huh? We killed the flower. Oh. This is organic material. Why do we wear spacesuits in space? Why? Because we don't want to end up like the flower? Yeah. That's right. Give her a big hand for helping out. Thank you very much. Oh, sticker. Gotta have a sticker. There's your sticker. Thank you very much. Study hard. Now I've got one other thing I want to show you about the liquid nitrogen. Then we're going to talk about something else. Tamika, how am I doing on time?
You're great.
Okay. So I want to just put this. This is I should put on the glove. Yes, okay, be safe. Safety first. Safety first. And what I want to do, what is this? It's not a teapot. I had this British guy tell me it's a tea kettle. Teapots are ceramic, tea kettles are metal. So I've always been calling it wrong all my life. I thought it was a teapot. Now what does this one do? It's got a little hole in the end there. What does it do when it tells you your water is ready? It whistles, okay? So now boiling water will make this whistle. What happens if I put some nitrogen in there? Does that whistle? Would you like to hold the teapot? And just hold it right over the jug. Take a little bit of this. All right. Now, wait a minute. Astronauts do like to play games, don't they?
Mix it up, mix it up.
Don't melt it. Don't melt it. Okay. Now, with your bare hand, touch the bottom there. Woo! That's cold, isn't it?
Chilly.
Now, what happened? What happened? What happened to the nitrogen? It seems to be gone. There's nothing in here anymore. It evaporated, just like the boiling water. The gas form of water is water vapor. So it boiled away, made this whistle, and all came out. It changed state for us. It changed from Virginia to Maryland. No, it changed state. Okay, so let's talk about, would you select a teacher for me? Because you just learned some amazing stuff today. Okay. Now, this particular experiment should have some safety glasses on here. And what we're doing here is, you heard the tragic story of Columbia. You probably saw it. And you heard of the astronaut's homage to his friends. And we know that when the shuttle comes back in, it compresses the air and generates a lot of heat when it gets back into the atmosphere. Some from friction, but mostly from compression. And that compression then makes that air 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That is really hot. So how in the world do we protect the shuttle from burning up every time? What do we do? You have to find a way to cool it or reduce the friction. So that's an important part. I'm thinking of how can we keep the insulated. So, it's okay. It's all right. This is cross-curricular here. And so I have a shuttle tile. We put tiles on those. These are thermal tiles. They got a very light, very fragile layer of ceramic, and then this thermal stuff in the middle made of some sort of sand. And so I want you, which handedness are you? Right hand or left hand? Your right hand? Okay, let me have your left hand. just in case. You never know when these things are going to work or not. Well, let's turn and face the audience. And you have 5 astronauts here, and we're going to put them.
I'm taking the ring off just in case.
Just in case. Yeah, the hand doesn't matter, but the ring is an heirloom. So what we want to do is put all 5 of your astronauts behind this tile.
Okay.
Now, did you notice that this tile had a hole in it?
I did.
Okay. Just to be safe, I'll put my finger over that hole when we heat the outside of this tile up. Okay? That'll probably do the trick. Okay? Hold that towel just for a minute. Just go ahead and hold it. And then it'll be okay. Yeah, we'll be all right. We'll be all right.
We're from the government. We're here to help you.
Yes. What's your suit though? From the government. Look, I'm from NASA. It says so on my tie. So, what I want you to do is hold behind with all of your astronauts protected. And I'm going to put my finger over the hole.
What's going to happen to you?
What's going to happen to me?
Yeah, your fingers over the hole.
I'm magic.
Okay.
I'm not going to keep that part of the towel.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, I wanted to give you the option of chickening out. So, blow the torch. Okay? I cannot get it to 3,000 degrees, but I can get it to 1,500 degrees. I see all your astronauts are protected. Okay? Now I'm going to hit you right here, and I'm going to turn this tile red hot on this side.
How are your astronauts?
How are your astronauts feeling? They're comfortable?
The commander's not doing really well.
Did you see how hot that got? Now, I don't want to touch this outside because that's really hot. I mean, the shuttle glows for a long time after it's in.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Sorry, but cold.
Yeah, well, that happens every time we fly. I want to thank you very much for helping out. Alrighty. I think we'll just stop with one last little thing. What happened to that ping pong ball? And I have a straw here. You can do this at home. This one you can do at home. Okay? Another demonstration of Bernoullis Principle. Okay? Oops. Awesome, right? Yeah. You know what? I need mechanical assistance. What I need is an astronaut hairdryer. An astronaut hairdryer.
Yeah, I need one of those.
Yeah, this probably would dry your hair in a second. Okay. You hold that. I'm going to put this ball in the airstream coming out of here. And you can move that airstream around, that ball will stay in there. Isn't that just amazing? Now, if you try this at home, you need to ask permission unless you got your own hairdryer, because the hairdryers get hot. Excellent job. Let's see how far over it can go. Just slowly tilt it. Look at that. Sooner or later, gravity is going to take over. And it's going to fall out of the stream. All right. I want to thank you all for being here today. We had a great time. I want to thank you, sir. Really good to see you again. And remember to fly. So, Miss Tamika, I need somebody to hand out NASA stickers to all the people who didn't get them as they leave the auditorium.
Let's give another round of applause to these two gentlemen. What a
Okay. No,
All right, again, that concludes our program for today. I want to thank all of you so much for being here today. It was a pleasure to have you here. I hope you've learned something that you can take back, and I hope in the future maybe a few of you will be on this very stage sharing what you've been able to accomplish once you're an adult. All right, with that, Dr. Byles and Astronaut Melvin are going to the lobby. They will be there for you to interact with as you leave today. I do want to ask that you be mindful. Look around this room. There are a lot of people who may not have gotten to speak to either one of them when they came in. So be respectful of time. If you have questions, try to keep them brief. If you want to take a picture, just go ahead and do that. But please be mindful and respectful of time so everybody can have a chance to share before they leave. All right, because there are so many people, we do need to do this in an orderly fashion. So I'm going to ask the groups to file out, beginning with the group in the back. That last group, I think, was with Ms. Collins. Ms. Collins, if you wanted to gather your students and head out. And then once you see them clear, we can move along all the way up to Mrs. Fry's group. So please stay seated until your teacher is ready for you to go.